less than 100 minutes and you watch all this, then perhaps contributing to the delinquency of a minor or other things could be charged to you.
Well, that's kind of drastic. What if it led to, they got arrested because one 15-year-old had one beer and then they got tagged for it?
And then what are you thinking? What was your question about what they could be charged with?
Well, you're dealing with the parents. And my question is can this lead to further charges of child abuse or child neglect or anything like that?
Well, like any criminal prosecution, you'd have to have the facts to support each individual charge. So if the facts of the situation are providing that alcohol became a sort of battery upon that child and caused intentional infliction of harm, then perhaps you'd have to have a special set of facts, I would think, to make one beer go that far.
So it's possible.
It's possible. I would say highly unlikely, but again, a very special set of circumstances.
In exceptions, A, what does solely mean? Conduct solely between an underage person and his parents?
I'm sorry, Councilmember, where are you looking?
Section 5A.
The last page, where it says, it does not apply to conduct solely between an underage person and his or her parents.
Well, it says that these are exceptions.
Yes?
So it would not be, as I read it, a violation of the ordinance if an underage person, let's say a 19-year-old boy and his father at the father's house had a beer while watching the Vikings.
Okay. What about if there was 30 people there watching the Vikings?
Well, unless they are all the children of this person who owns the house.
And only the child was drinking. The other children were drinking Coke. This is a question.
Yeah.
Well, then I would think you would go back to Section 4, and I would call that an event or a gathering where alcohol is present or served.
Okay, thank you.
I would imagine, though, that in a case like that, that there's a party going on, it's okay for the parent and the child to have a beer. But it wouldn't be okay if any of those other people were underage.
That's the way it reads to me.
Right. And it wouldn't be okay for a parent that didn't live in that house to give their own kid a beer, because it's got to be in their parents' household.
That's one of those factual things.
Well, this is pretty factual. I mean, it lays it out for the parent's household present between the underage person and their parent. So, say you've got a football party and a couple of young guys. So that, I mean, that's, but then we're getting into the definition of a gathering, which is further up in the ordinance, and so. So I think what they're addressing here is the glass of wine at Christmas. They're addressing the family gathering. They're addressing that sort of thing with that part of the ordinance. And then religious observances. Well, that's probably wine at Mass or something like that. Any more questions? We are going to proceed apace. What does the council wish to do? I think we've got a couple of options. We can ask the staff to prepare a final draft. We can ask the sheriff to come and talk to us. We can
Vote it down.
We can vote down whether or not we're going to prepare it, that's for sure. Right now, we're looking for a recommendation, so there is no vote on the table. But if it gets to that, yeah, we can vote it down. Or we can vote on whether or not to ask the staff to make a recommendation.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Where we'd be at is the staff would prepare basically an ordinance for adoption, which would be basically amending the city code. So a motion would be in order to have us do that. And if the council so chose, we could, since this would be before the council at one more meeting, we could have the, invite county representatives, whoever they would like to send to come down here.